Welcome back, patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience, your one-stop shop for your gaming news. This is the Week in Gaming. I'm recording this on Thursday night as the NFL draft is actually kicking off. Not sure who's going first. I will update you guys, but by the time you hear this, you'll actually already know. So the draft, round one is on Thursday nights. I think round two, and maybe three are Friday nights, and then the remaining rounds of the draft are on Saturday. But again, by the time you guys hear this, you will have known who went first and second and third and all that good stuff. And hopefully your team got what you were looking for. And hopefully when you make your pick, the pick actually plays out in dividends for you. Why the fuck is that Roger Goodell riding a fucking bike around this? That is the commissioner of the NFL is riding a beach like a bike like the beach cruiser. It you know what? It's not exactly the beach cruiser. It's like the beach cruiser mixed with Pee Wee's bike on Pee Wee's. This is crazy. All these guys are coming out riding bikes. I don't get this. They got Packers legends. And Lil Wayne, shout out to Weezy F Baby. Those dreads look crazy. Wayne is a huge Packer fan, and the draft is in Green Bay. So maybe the NFL is doing something for some like bike riding program. I don't know. Anyway, welcome back. Patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, etc., etc. This is the Week in Gaming. This week, nothing really hit till later in the week, but we do have a few stories I want to go over. I always say it's not going to be a long show, and then it ends up being that way. Maybe that just means I'm very long-winded. I don't know. But either way, we're going to go ahead and get into the topics. To start, generally I will have something for grain of salt. I don't really have anything right now, but I do have something as far as games on PlayStation Plus. This comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com. Several PlayStation exclusives are leaving PS Plus on PlayStation 5 soon. Two exclusive PS3 classics are being removed from the service. The subscription service offers a catalog of older titles from PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PS5. PS3 games can only be played via Sony's streaming service, but PS4 and PS5 games can be run natively. The list of available games changes often, mostly due to licensing issues or contracts expiring. It's far rare, however, to see PlayStation first-party games being removed from the service. Alongside heavy hitters like GTA 5, Sony's confirmed that Resistance: Fall of Man, Resistance 2, and Infamous Second Son are all being taken off the platform. This, not GTA, but this is especially surprising for titles like Resistance games are PlayStation Plus, as PlayStation Plus is the only way to play them on modern platforms, unless you still own a PlayStation 3. The games that will be removed, as confirmed by Sony, Grand Theft Auto 5, MotoGP 24, The Sims 4, Island Living Expansion Pack, Resistance: Fall of Man, Resistance 2, Walkabout Mini Golf, Synth Riders, Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord Frozen Empire, Before Your Eyes, The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, Stranded: Alien Dawn, the Lego Movie 2 video game, Ghost Runner, Ghost, Payday 2, Crime Wave Edition, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night, Journey to the Savage Planet, Portal Knights, Enter the Gungeon, Batman: Arkham Knight, and Infamous Second Son. So again, all those games I just listed are being removed from PlayStation Plus. I don't see a date here, but if you look up and they're gone, just know that that date obviously is come and gone. I'm going to be completely honest with you. They changed mechanics in games. A lot of people don't really feel like it was that big of a jump and don't feel like things changed that much. The way you shoot in Resistance: Fall of Man is not the way that we shoot in video games now, where the buttons are the triggers. I think it's R1 is like, I tried to play it a couple of months back and I was like, holy shit, there's no way I'm making it through this. This is just like really, really bad. At the time when the PlayStation 3 released, it was a new game and it was like, okay, no big deal. I think that was the first title I bought for my PS3. But yeah, it's just, they don't hold, that one didn't hold up well, I will tell you that. A lot of people have this reverence for that console generation, and it's great, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of great games that came out, but some of those games, I think a lot of people looked at through rose-colored lenses because they just don't hold up well in this day and age. So again, that's the list. you can check. I don't know what's going to replace them or what they're going to add to the catalog. Hopefully some really new stuff. Hopefully they put some stuff on there that I actually never got around to playing. It's like, oh, this is a reason for me to play it. There's quite a bit of games that are being removed, so it's like, why the fuck not? Anyway, in other news, also from VideoGamesChronicle.com, EA Sports College Football 26 release date as well as Madden NFL 26 date release date. They have both been confirmed. As previously leaked earlier this week, Madden NFL 26 is set to release August 14th with a deluxe edition offering up to 3 days early access starting on August 11th. College Football 26, meanwhile, will release before it on July 10th with a deluxe edition also offering 3 days early access starting on July 7th. Players can also pre-order an MVP bundle which contains the deluxe edition of both games, along with a bundle-exclusive Elite Player item for both games' Ultimate Team modes, something that I never actually use. Players who pre-order the MVP bundle before April 29th will also get a 99 rated Travis Hunter in the Ultimate Team for both College Football 25 and Madden NFL 25. I'm sorry, Madden NFL 26. Oh no, okay, that was right, for Madden and College Football 25. Madden NFL 26 has been confirmed for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, but College Football 26 has only been confirmed for PlayStation and Xbox. Neither has been confirmed for the Switch 2. We got some stuff on that. EA has said that Madden will come to the platform at some point, but we don't know about College Football. Very, very interesting. So, as far as college football goes, we do have an update on some features in the game. EA has confirmed that Road to Glory will start in high school, which is really cool. I know a lot of people were really waiting for that. Where's the rest of the information? We had some features and stuff. The full reveal is set for May, following the same schedule as last year. We do have a new score bug at the bottom of the screen. Jeez, I just saw everything. I have to go back and take a look. Sorry about this, guys. You'll get through it, though. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? I guess I was wrong. I do know that we're getting a new score bug. Metallica and somebody else had partnerships with the game. Oh, here we go. Wants to tell them Ski Mask could be in the game. Of course, it's not going to be on PC. Okay. Social media fan board likely to be in EA College Football 26 Dynasty mode after being left out of 25. That's dope. Metallica, the Ultimate Marching Band competition, so Metallica will be in College Football 26. Let's see. I think that's all I have for it. But we are getting the reveal in May, so stay forward and stay tuned for that. This May is when everything is going to start kicking off for gaming coverage and stuff like that. I didn't get the deluxe editions last year because my stupid friends, they didn't tell me that they were going to do it. So they were like, yeah, we're playing already. Why aren't you playing? I was like, because I got the standard edition. You dickheads didn't. I apologize. I'm sorry. You guys didn't tell me that you were going to get the deluxe editions. However, on Xbox, EA does have EA Play as part of Game Pass Ultimate. So I still got to play a little early on Xbox. And then I had the standard version on PlayStation. So I, started playing my Road to Glory and stuff over there. I actually still have a Dynasty on Xbox that I need to finish at some point, but I guess that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I am really, really excited for College Football 26. College football is probably the thing I watch most on TV in the fall. It's just that there's actually one day in the fall where every major sport, college football, the NFL, most of all the major sports are all playing like at one time, because you have the NFL and NHL starting back up. Major League Baseball is in its postseason. The NFL is underway. It's just like one of the best days in sports. So anyway, not to get off on a tangent, I am very much looking forward to College Football 26. Maybe it'll help me like reinvigorate Madden, my love for Madden, because I'm not going to be like, let's just be honest, EA got extremely lazy, and it seems that they only focus on Ultimate Team now, and that pisses me off. And it's like they do that with all their games. Like, it's bad enough that that NBA Live basically died because 2K continued to innovate and NBA Live didn't. Well, now we look at the situation where 2K is not innovating because they don't have any competition. Madden doesn't have any competition because EA has the exclusive license to NFL simulation games. So they can just do whatever the hell they want to do. I really do wish that there was another college football or a Madden game because it would, competition breeds creativity and they need to be pushed because they keep just putting out the same shit every year. They'll change a little bit. They'll add like, ooh, we got new swag. You can wear hoodies under your jersey and pads. And it's like, I don't care about that shit. Make the game good. Make the game interesting. So I am really, really looking forward to College Football 26, though. The jury's still out on Madden. I think that we're getting close. We're getting close to the first pick. The Titans. Oh, the pick is in. I'm going to give you guys the pick here live. But, yeah, so, again, that is Madden August 14th. Unless you get the deluxe edition, you can play a little earlier. So that would be August 11th. And College Football 26 will be July 10th. Unless you get the deluxe edition, you can play earlier. That would be July 7th, obviously. In other news, really quickly, Michael Bay and Sydney Sweeney are teaming up on a movie adaptation of Outrun at Universal. Michael Bay is really good at a lot of like big blockbuster action movies and stuff like that. I don't want to see Michael Bay doing a video game movie. I'm just being completely honest. Anyway, this comes from Deadline.com. With the Minecraft movie owning the box office over the past month, HBO's The Last of Us returning with a bang, Universal is looking to add to its own video game adaptation to the mix with the help of two big superstars. Sources tell Deadline that the studio is developing a feature adaptation of Sega's iconic arcade video game Outrun, with Michael Bay attached to direct and Sydney Sweeney aboard to produce. Jason Rothwell will pen the script. Bay will also produce alongside partner Brad Fuller through their Platinum Dunes banner, which has a first look deal with the studio. The project is in development as of right now. Sweeney is only on board to produce, so she won't be starring in the movie, so you horny assholes don't do that. Toru Nakahara, who did Sonic the Hedgehog 1 through 3 and Knuckles as well as Golden Axe, will produce for Sega, and Shuji Utsumi, the president and CEO of Sega Corp, will oversee the project on behalf of Sega. This is going to be a fucking disaster. Plot details are vague. Sega's Outrun series is a franchise that originated from some of the most successful arcade games in the world during the 1980s. The game pioneered a new genre of driving games and spawned an electronic music subgenre aptly called Outrun. The unique combo made it a worldwide hit. Since then, numerous installments have been released, including home console versions, and it continues to be one of Sega's flagship franchises. While the industry is having a moment with video game adaptations, Universal is no stranger to adapting them to hit movies. Outrun is slated to follow the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Five Nights at Freddy's, which grossed $1.4 billion and $290 million respectively in global box office. $290 million doesn't seem like that much for a film these days, right? Anyway, Sweeney may be one of the town's busiest stars in front of the camera, but over the past year has become active on the producing front as well. She recently produced and starred in her neon horror pick Immaculate, and is also a producer in the Christy Martin biopic, in which she also stars. I don't know who Christy Martin is. Bay, Fuller, and Platinum Dunes have also been busy recently producing A Quiet Place Day One. They also produced the thriller Drop alongside Blumhouse. Rothwell's recent credits include Polar and Arachnid. Bay is represented by Range Media Partners. Sweeney is represented by Paradigm and Stuart Brookman and Hansen. Jacobson, Teller, Hoverman et al. Rothwell is represented by Cliff Roberts at Syndicate Entertainment and Austin Williams at Sloan, Offer, Webb, and Dern. Not that anybody cares about that. Congratulations, Cam Ward, taken #1 overall by the Tennessee Titans. This is a big pick for them. They're building a new stadium right now. It's going to be amazing. I wish they would get rid of their current uniforms. Those jerseys are god fucking awful. The blue is not bad. It's that gray on the shoulder, like on the yoke. I think that looks absolutely fucking stupid, but this is not a fashion show. This is about video games. Anyway, in other news, the new PlayStation 5 system software updates feature audio focus and the return of classic console UI customizations. That is right. The 30th anniversary console UIs we got for the PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3, as well as the PlayStation 4, they are back via the update. We continue to work behind the scenes to bring new enhancements to the PlayStation 5 experience, and today we are excited to announce 2 key additions based on player feedback. Audio focus and the return of the classic console designs for the PS5 UI. The PlayStation 5 system update will roll out globally in a phased approach starting on April 24th. The details are as follows. Audio focus increases immersion by providing Presets to amplify soft sounds to meet your hearing preferences, ensuring a clearer audio experience when using headphones or headsets. This feature supports broader accessibility and audio experiences. When the audio focus setting is turned on, you can choose from a range of preset options, which make it easier to distinguish sounds like in-game character dialogue, subtle sound effects such as footsteps and rustling grass, as well as voices and party chats for a more immersive game experience. You can choose from 4 preset focus types, options for which sounds to boost low pitch, amplify low frequency sounds like roaring engines and rumbling noises, boost voices, amplify voice chats, character voices, and other middle frequency sounds, boost high pitch, amplify high frequency sounds like footsteps and metallic noises, boost quiet sounds, amplify low volume sounds in a wide range of frequencies. You can set the level of support for each preset type from 3 different levels: weak, medium, or strong. Additionally, you can also choose to adjust the level of support for the preset for left or right channels separately to meet your specific preferences. Audio focus feature is available when using headphones connected via USB or analog jack. It is not supported for HDMI connections through TV, AV receivers, or soundbars. The classic console designs. During our 30th anniversary celebration, we surprised our fans with a limited time selection of nostalgia customization features for the PlayStation 5 system UI to honor the 4 PlayStation consoles that paved the way for PS5, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. Due to the overwhelmingly positive response from our community, we're happy to bring back the look and feel of 4 console designs for players to customize the home screens on the PS5. This feature will be called Appearance and can be accessed under the Settings menu. We're excited to bring the update to you and would love to hear your thoughts on them. Which features are you looking forward to seeing? Share your comments below, and that's via the PlayStation blog. So, finally, Sony listened to us. They can do this. We should have had themes. Ooh, we've got a trade. Jaguars. Wow, the Jags have moved up to number 2, and the Browns have moved back to 5. So this is going to be very, very interesting. It kind of feels like the Jags are moving up to go after Travis Hunter. I think they still believe that Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback. So it looks like that was a jump to go after Travis Hunter. I could be wrong. I don't know. And other news from the PlayStation blog. This is the big one and one that we've been waiting on. Ghost of Yotei comes to PlayStation 5 on October 2nd. I cannot fucking wait. Learn about Atsu's journey, plus our Collector's Edition and Digital Deluxe Edition are detailed. It's been nearly 5 years since we shipped Ghost of Tsushima. In that time, we've been hard at work making Ghost of Yotei something special. While the story is unrelated, it's important to us to make this a worthy follow-up to Jin's journey, and we can't wait for you to experience Atsu's quest for vengeance later this year. Alongside today's news, we've also released our latest trailer for Ghost of Yotei, the on-rolls list 16 years ago in the heart of Etso, called Haikido and Present Day. A gang of outlaws known as the Yotei Six took everything from Atsu. They killed her family and left her for dead. Pinned to a burning ginkgo tree outside her home, Atsu survived. She learned to fight, to kill, and to hunt. After years away, she has returned to her home with a list of 6 names: the Snake, the Oni, the Kutsune, the Spider, the Dragon, and Lord Saito. One by one, she's hunting them down to avenge her family, armed with the same katana used to pin her to that burning tree all those years ago. But while Atsu's story begins with vengeance, she'll find there's more to her journey than just revenge. As she explores Etso, Atsu will meet unlikely allies and forge connections that help give her a new sense of purpose. We hope the brief looks in today's trailer give you a taste of what you can expect from Ghost of Yotei. Beyond your first look at the Yotei 6, you'll spot some of the gorgeous scenery of Etso, as well as a handful of Atsu's new weapons, a few of her allies, and even a gameplay mechanic that will allow you to glimpse Atsu's past and understand everything that was taken from her. This only scratches the surface. Ghost of Yotei, we've built upon and evolved the way you explore the open world, offering even more freedom and variety than in Ghost of Tsushima. You'll choose which leads to follow as you pick which Yotei 6 member you want to hunt down. Atsu can also track the other dangerous targets and claim bounties, or seek out weapon sensei to learn new skills. Etso is wild and as deadly as it is beautiful. As you trek across the open world, you'll find unexpected dangers and peaceful reprieves, including some returning activities from Tsushima, and you'll be able to build a campfire anywhere in the open world for a rest under the stars. We want you to have the freedom to explore Etso however you decide to, and we can't wait to share more. So pre-orders begin May 2nd at 10 a.m. in your local time zone, and you'll be able to choose between multiple different editions, including our amazing collector's edition. I do want that because it also has a mask like the last one. The last mask was black. It's on my shelf now. This mask is white. The box looks amazing. Everything looks great. Everything looks absolutely great. I definitely want this. I'm gonna play the game regardless. I want this collector's edition though. Um, but maybe we're getting to that point where um we're gonna start seeing the PlayStation 5 pay dividends. There are some really good games, and then there are some mistakes and mishaps that were made. So um, it's amazing. I know a lot of people you hear, yeah, it's been 5 years. The Last of Us Part 2 shipped June 19th of 2020 during the pandemic. Ghost of Tsushima shipped that July. So 5 years later, here is Sucker Punch back with a follow up. And 5 years later, we still don't have a new game from Naughty Dog. Now, we do know that Intergalactic is coming. We just don't know if it's going to be 26. We know that's definitely not 25. I think we all knew that when we saw it. Um, but it's comparing apples to oranges at the same time. Those studios operate differently. But Naughty Dog's a very big studio. So, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get more information about Intergalactic this summer. That would be really, really cool. But I don't know. We shall see. Um, and this just in, again, this is not a sports podcast, but the Jags did jump up to get Travis Hunter just as I predicted when they made that trade to move up to number two. Which leads me to believe that Cleveland needs a quarterback. I would imagine that they either feel like Shador or Jackson Dart will be there at number 5 when they pick. So, but anyway, congratulations to Travis Hunter, uh, wide receiver, DB, Heisman Trophy winner. Amazing things ahead of him in the NFL. I think he's actually a really good fit in Jacksonville. He's a really good fit in Jacksonville. Anyway, moving right along. So this is news from IGN today. Again, I'm recording this on Thursday, the 24th. As you guys know, the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders went live at midnight, and that was a whole shit show, but we will get to that on the last word. This is information for third-party games, and this is very, very interesting. Again, this comes from IGN.com. It has emerged that almost all physical third-party Nintendo Switch 2 games in Japan revealed so far are game key cards, and it looks like a similar situation in the West, which would be here in the United States, in North America. As reported by Gamatsu, the launch of the Switch 2 pre-orders in Japan revealed all physical third-party games so far except for CD Projekt's Cyberpunk 2077, and that are not Nintendo Switch 2 editions ship on game key cards and thus require access to the internet to download the full game. This is why people were stressing the purchase of those micro SD cards and why they were selling out everywhere. Remember, the micro SD cards have been sold out since Nintendo did the Switch 2 Direct. Even when we didn't know when the pre-orders would go live because of the situation with the tariffs. Now you know why. People were anticipating this. So yeah, it's from the Gamatsu Twitter account. Switch 2 game pre-orders have been up in Japan for a few hours, revealing all physical third-party games so far except for Cyberpunk 2077 that are not Nintendo Switch 2 editions to be shipping on game key cards, which requires internet to download the full game. Nordics and No Sleep for Kaname Date, are also game key cards in Japan, and retail descriptions for the Split Fiction list it as a code in box. What is the situation in the West? Here, Sega's Switch 2 games are game key cards. The listing for Sonic X Shadow Generations on Walmart, for example, confirms as such. In fact, we found only 4 third-party physical Switch 2 games that aren't game key cards. The aforementioned Cyberpunk 2077, Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion, Nintendo Switch 2, Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, Nintendo Switch 2, No Sleep for Kaname Date from the AI Sonium Files ABBA edition. When Nintendo pulled back the curtain on the Switch 2, it confirmed that several new Switch 2 game cards won't always carry an actual game, but instead contain a key for a game download. Nintendo later clarified that Switch 2 edition games contain both the game and the upgrade on the cartridge itself. Switch 2 game key cards are physical cards that can only contain a key to download your chosen game. That means there's no actual game data on the card you insert into your Switch 2, so you'll need to download it once the card is inserted. Every game key card case is appropriate label on the lower portion of the front of the box, so if you're concerned about what exactly you're purchasing, you should have a heads up right away. Games like Street Fighter 6 and the Bravely Default Remastered do indeed feature this game key card disclaimer. Others such as Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza do not. The beefy Cyberpunk 2077, which weighs in at 64 gigs on Nintendo Switch 2, comes on cart. This is very, very interesting. Okay. As pointed out by Daniel Ahmad, Director of Research and Insights at Nico Partners, this focus on game keycards may put extreme pressure on the eShop around the Switch 2's launch in June as fans rush to download their games. This is going to be a fucking issue. Daniel Ahmad says all the Switch 2 bundles come with a download code. Mario Kart World is 24 gigs. Most games come on a game keycard and require a download. The Switch 2 launches globally on the same day. I am not a religious man, but I ask you all to pray for the eShop servers on June 5th. I would say the same. This is going to be a shit show. No matter how you guys look at it, like, this is going to be a shit show. It seems like everybody has done this. Sony went bananas with the PlayStation 2, and then with the PlayStation 3, they got greedy and released two consoles, one for $500, one for $600. And then the public, we had to learn them, okay? Xbox did really good with the 360, and then they came with the Xbox One, $100 more than the PlayStation 4, and DRM always online, and you could not separate it from the Kinect. The Kinect was bundled in. It's crazy now that we even forget, like, there are times I forget the Kinect was actually a thing. But I remember how heavy that fucking camera was, like how I had to mount it under my TV. It was just a fucking pain in the ass. Nintendo did really good with the Wii, and then they came with the Wii U and it flopped. Nintendo then had to pivot to the Switch, did really good with the Switch, and here they are with the Switch 2. I'm not saying they're going to destroy the Switch 2 because this time they didn't deviate from the formula. Same thing, same design, just a little stronger, better visuals, better processing power. The dock itself comes with a fan, so it looks like they would have fixed those issues, but this clearly speaks of Nintendo's greed, and this should be interesting going forward. This should be very, very interesting going forward. Um, I'm not wishing anything bad on Nintendo. I have so many questions. I wonder how this is all going to play out. And a year from now, when we're talking about, hey, it's been a year since the release of the Switch, I remember when they did those year in reviews of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and X consoles, and we were told, hey, the Series S is holding back this generation of video games. Well, also not to mention that Sony sold 117 million or something like that PlayStation 4s, and they won't abandon the console. There are still games that are coming out on the PlayStation 4 today, and the PlayStation 5 will have been out 5 years this fall. That doesn't make any sense. You have to cut it off at some point. You have to cut it off at some point. And the thing about it is x86 architecture. And they're like, well, there's still a bunch of people on PS4. At the beginning, when the pandemic made it hard to get your hands on a PS5, I get it. I fucking get it. But at this point, you can readily get a PS5 anywhere. Amazon, GameStop, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Sam's Club, Costco. You could literally trip and fall over a PlayStation 5 just out shopping. And Microsoft is still not making Xbox One games. Unless they could be, I could be mistaken, but it's time to cut that generation off. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things move forward with the Switch 2. Now, speaking of which, this is very, very interesting. This comes from NintendoEverything.com. There was all that conversation concerning the GameCube controller and how it really works and can you play other games with it, blah, 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 blah. Remember, this is the wireless GameCube controller they showed during the Switch 2 Direct. Well, our questions have been answered. Switch 2's GameCube controller apparently only works with the Nintendo Classics. There was an update to this story. So this is the history of it, right? So April 9th, a key detail about the Switch 2's GameCube controller is seemingly confirmed. As it turns out, the device will apparently be compatible with just the upcoming Nintendo Classics apps. That information is included in Nintendo's official video announcing GameCube games on Nintendo Switch 2. Since it's only shown in the fine print of the UK upload, it's not in the North American version, you may have missed it last week. In fact, it seems most people did. Nintendo is taking a different approach here compared to other classic controllers. You may recall that on the current system, you're able to use the controllers for the NES, SNES, N64, and Sega Genesis in standard games for the Switch. GameCube will be the first new classic program as part of the Nintendo Switch Online service since the arrival of the Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance titles in 2023. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX will also be available alongside the new console. Chibi Robot, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, and Super Mario Sunshine are also planned. They will not be there on the launch day, but they are planned. As of April 22nd, Nintendo has now shared a statement about the situation, which we've included. Excuse me. The Nintendo GameCube controller is designed for use with the Nintendo GameCube. Nintendo Classics collection of games is an optional way to play those games, since it doesn't have all the buttons and features found in other controllers that can be used with the Nintendo Switch 2 system. There may be some issues when playing other games. The Nintendo GameCube controller can only be used on Nintendo Switch 2, is not compatible with the Nintendo Switch. So just say it. It only works with the GameCube Classics. They're like, well, it may not work with every game. No, they're telling you. So if you go to reach for that controller and it doesn't work, and you're like, Nintendo, what the fuck? They flat out told you. Another thing I'm going to tell you is a GameCube controller is generally the preferred controller to play Super Smash Brothers. Why this would not at least work with Smash Brothers is fucking crazy. I don't get that. But I'm glad I bought my my Switch GameCube controller with the adapter, because I have verified that will work on the Switch 2, because it still has USB ports. So I just plug that baby right into the dock, and I'm playing Smash Brothers with my GameCube controller. But I think this is a huge oversight. I think Nintendo is getting absolutely greedy, well, greedier than they already have been, and this is a mistake. This is just a mistake, especially because that GameCube catalog on the Switch online expansion pack on day one is not going to be incredibly robust. It just isn't. And if you believe that, then I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Okay. This is a mistake, categorically, on so many levels. But the thing is, nobody's going to call Nintendo out. And the people who claim that they do, there was all this ruckus when it's like, hey, Mario Kart World is $80. Some Switch games are going to be like $90 physically. Oh, a lot of the third-party stuff you're going to have to download. You're buying a physical edition. Like, if that's the case, why not just buy the fucking game from the eShop, right? All these people, well, this is bullshit. I'm not messing with Nintendo. Fuck them. I'm not getting the Switch 2. But when it came time to pre-order, you couldn't get online in some of the shits. All right, and again, that will be covered in the last word. So everybody waving their fake flags about how Nintendo is anti-consumer. Well, here's the thing: exclusives is not anti-consumer. People are like, well, everybody should be able to play Spider-Man. Everybody should be able to play The Last of Us. No, they shouldn't. The Last of Us is a Sony IP. If you don't want to buy a PlayStation, build a PC. Well, Spider-Man doesn't belong to Sony. Well, the film rights do. So obviously Sony has a good working relationship with Disney. Well, everybody should be able to play Spider-Man. Buy a PlayStation or build a PC. Because it only seems to happen when we're having these conversations between PlayStation and Xbox fans. Because Nintendo has gatekept their exclusives since the beginning of time. You have never been able to play Super Mario Brothers or The Legend of Zelda on any other console or PC. At least if you don't want to buy a PlayStation 5 or upcoming PlayStation 6, that's perfectly fine. You can build yourself a PC, and then a year and a half, maybe 2 years later, you can play PlayStation exclusives on your PC. Nobody says anything about Nintendo when they do this shit. So let's stop with the anti-consumer bullshit. Why do you have certain streaming services? Well, because this is available on this streaming service, but it's not on that service. Bingo. So by that same argument, you would have to say, oh, Disney Plus is anti-consumer because this is the only place I can watch Marvel films. Which isn't true, but, oh, well, this is the only place I can watch X-Men 97. Well, that is true. Well, that's anti-consumerism. No, it isn't. Exclusive IPs are what sell your platform. Not only in gaming, but also in film. There was a time where the artist who I will not name said that he would not drop another album unless it was on Tidal. And then Def Jam told him, fuck your artistic, expression. Frank Ocean Endless, the visual album, is still an Apple Music exclusive. And that album came out in 2015 or 2016. So what does that tell you? That's just the way it goes. And I think people really need to fucking get over that shit. That's just my opinion anyway. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I seldom am. And then lastly, Eurogamer went hands-on with the Eurogamer's Digital Foundry went hands-on with the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm not. This one's going to be really long. I will post the link to this, but I'm going to get into some of the stuff that they covered. Let's see. It says this one's a touch delayed. We didn't attend either the New York or Paris reveal events, but Nintendo arrived in London on April 11th to showcase the Switch 2. And Digital Foundry was invited, and by large, we like what we see. Yes, there's a certain degree of continuity and familiarity moving from the original Switch to a successor, but from our perspective, the hardware hits the spot. Bigger, brighter, better, and as far as the games, well, it's early days, of course, so there's expected quality divide between the first and third-party efforts, but Mario Kart World, that looks like a system seller right there. 100% it is. Going into the experience, perhaps the biggest question mark for us concerned the size and heft of the Switch 2, and equally as important, the quality of the LCD panel. On the former point, comparisons against Steam Deck may reveal a similarly large device, but the fact is that the new machine is essentially as thin as the old one, gives it a far less cumbersome feel in the hand. It may sound obvious, but it just feels like a larger Switch, while a bigger display feels like a big upgrade over the original model, and especially useful for those of us with a certain age with long-sighted issues. Where are we at? We don't see much evidence of a mini LED display with individual dimming zones, so the odds that we're looking at an edge-lit LCD, far from OLED quality. That said, the screen is honestly beautiful. While it struggles to match the contrast of the Switch OLED, it's very bright and vibrant. Viewing angles are also excellent at even the extremes. For HDR content, such as Cyberpunk's dark areas with vibrant neon signs, HDR is noticeable, but for those hoping for an experience akin to the Steam Deck OLED, Switch 2 does fall short. Also, it's unclear which games shown were benefiting from the VRR technology in the display. For certain titles that struggled, not even with VRR with low frame rate compensation can smooth out the experience. VR, noticeably, some of that stuff disappeared from the Nintendo website. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. With regards to the new Joy-Cons, the larger analog sticks and buttons make an immediate improvement to the feel of the machine. The grip on the console is also better, even though the depth of the machine is the same as the original Switch. The larger size of the Joy-Cons means there's a wider distribution of the analog sticks and buttons within that space, and more room for your hand to rest. Magnetic attachments are stubbornly firm too, and it creates a more reassuring attachment to the main device, without the millimeter gap that causes slight wiggle on the original Switch's Joy-Con attachment. Mario Kart World, inevitably stunning system seller. Material quality on the road, the tarmac, and the gravel all have much higher resolution texture assets than Mario Kart 8 ever provided. It's certainly a huge leap over the new DLC tracks added to Mario Kart 8. Model quality and animations are significantly higher too, with a style much closer to the recent Mario movie. Shadows are much more dynamic, with softer diffused shadows falling on the track when they stem from tall trees. In performance terms, everything we played rolled out at a locked 60 frames per second. However, gameplay in our demo is significantly slower in pace to the top-end Mario Kart 8 experience due to the demo being limited to the 100cc mode. Perhaps the slower speed is for the best in the demo to make sure players acquaint themselves with the new wall jump and rail grinding mechanics and not overwhelm play given the 24 racers. The demo didn't feature any access to the open world, so there was certainly a degree of familiarity in play, but the huge increase in racers up to 24 immediately creates more moment-to-moment chaos coming from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's simpler 12 racer limit. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was played at 120 frames per second. That is awesome. Okay, that's interesting. Donkey Kong Bonanza, ambitious, but the jury's still out. I'm not gonna lie. I watched the Nintendo Treehouse where they played Donkey Kong Bonanza. That game is not for me. I'm not here to shit on that game. I'm just saying that's not a game that I'm going to be playing. I don't mind them doing an open world Donkey Kong, but that game just didn't look good. To me, it didn't. I'll say that. It's definitely not a Derrick game. So that's not one I will be playing. Mario Kart 8 was a day one regardless. And yes, I'm going to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the Switch 2 versions. I'm just going to... It's $10 to upgrade to the Switch 2 version. I've paid to upgrade PlayStation 4 games to PlayStation 5 versions. It's not that big a deal for me. As I'm recording this, we're hours away from Days Gone Remastered going live on PlayStation 5. I paid the $10 for that. It's not that big a deal to me. It really isn't. What else are they talking about? Let's see. Let's talk third-party Switch 2 games. There's a definite divide between the first-party games built by world-leading developers targeting their hardware specifically and third-party games from all comers. Porting titles originally made for the cross-gen 8th and 9th generation console eras. We've already talked about in depth about Cyberpunk 2077 and since discovered that DLSS is in play, but our opinions on third-party ports haven't really shifted since assessing their showing at the Nintendo Direct. However, we were eager to see Street Fighter 6 on Switch available only in dock mode at the London event. This is our first taste of an RE Engine Capcom title, which is exciting given the number of games I'm hoping to see on Switch 2 down the line. In this case, Switch 2's optimization is a success where it matters and holding a stable 60 frames per second, but it does take a few trade-offs visually to get there. It renders at 1080p based on direct footage, much like PS4 and Series S versions, and with a similar drop in shadow quality as those versions too. As a result, there's some slight flicker, dithering environmental shadows, and ambient shade around hair. Textures may be higher than the Series S based on online murmuring, but this is something we'll have to report back on with the direct capture from Switch 2. This was updated as of the 22nd, while our initial pixel counts on Street Fighter 6 during the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct reveal pointed to a native 1080p based on limited footage. The more recent Nintendo Treehouse feed shows a scale from a native 960 540 to 1080p target using AI upscaling method, with evidence suggests NVIDIA's DLSS based on this footage. Looking back, this 540p upscale appears to be in place in the original direct footage as well. It's a remarkably clean scale in most shots, with the first few frames following camera cut being one way to catch the base resolution from its dock mode play. In terms of graphics selection, it falls closer to PS4 than Series X, i.e. a mixture of low-medium settings based on the PC version. Screen space reflections are removed outright here, much like the base PS4 Xbox One versions, which use cube map textures in the GenCube Temple Lake. It's not a huge loss given how distracting the RE Engine's SSR can be, but a surprise given that even PS4 Pro, Xbox One have SSR, and also Series S. It's missing certain dynamic elements in the stage too, like the interactive cherry blossom petals on the floor. Present on PS5 and Series X and S. Still, I will stress for the power on tap and Switch 2, it still looks great, just accepting it's equivalent to PS4 visuals. This is the conversation that we were having. Some people did not want to believe that. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I'm also a PlayStation fanboy, and I'm an Xbox fanboy to a certain extent, as well as a PC fanboy. In all terms, I just love video games, and that's why I will not lock myself into one exclusive platform. But for the super duper Nintendo fanboys, they were like, it's going to be more powerful than the PS4. I tried to tell y'all, and y'all didn't want to listen. So, I don't know. Moving on to Hogwarts Legacy, a proper gen showcase in its launch iterations on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. The Switch 2 version was presented only as a docked experience. It's rather stripped down take on the game visually, but it runs well most of the time at 30 frames per second, even while flying at speed on a broom. You get the huge draw distances of the regions around Hogwarts with only some shadow pop-ins across the trees. Its functionality 30 frames per second in what should be the most taxing aspect of the game. The demo takes us from the outskirts of Hogwarts into a Colosseum-like fighting pit where we take on the boss. Runs at 30 frames per second capped, though it's on a side-on view, the pit drops us visibly into the 20s at one specific point here. This sounds just as bad as the original Switch port of Hogwarts Legacy. Remember, that one was bad. The res metrics in the direct suggest 720 typical resolution with some variant of TAA upscaling, possibly even DLSS. Though whether that's true, this build is unclear. A resolves most of the jagged edges nicely, but it does look somewhat blurry compared to the other versions, while textures look pared back as well. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you have an Xbox Series X or a Series S or a PC and you're buying a Switch 2, do not play third-party games on it. Just don't. I didn't play any third-party games on my original Switch. It was for Nintendo first-party stuff. If you're looking for third-party games to run amazingly on the Nintendo Switch, you're going to be, or the Switch 2 either, you're going to be disappointed every time. You will always get the best experience on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox. And everybody's like, you're wrong. No, I'm not. Nintendo, I get it. The beautiful part of the Switch is you can take it. I'm playing and I gotta leave to go somewhere, grab it, put it in my carrying case, and take it with me and pick up the game on the road. Unless it's an online game, you'd have to sign in, via VPN and like a hotspot or something like that. You're not going to get like everybody, oh, Elden Ring on the Switch. I can play Elden Ring on the train or the bus or in the back seat of the car or at my desk or on my lunch break at work. It's not going to look like the other versions. And you guys need to, like, it's okay to be okay with that. It's totally okay to be okay with that. So, I don't know. Just if you're going to play a third party game, if you have another console or a PC, it is in your best interest to play it there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I will post the link to this Digital Foundry story on the Eurogamer website so you guys can take a look at it yourself. I'm going to end this like I end everything else. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.